Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. Long time no see again. But this time we are actually going to go into the why you haven't seen me for a while I do my makeup, because today I felt like I could have really used some makeup therapy and just doing my makeup to feel better about life and fall and embrace fall. So today we're talking and we're doing our makeup. Gonna show you the makeup first so that we know what we're doing. This is the color story for today. I wanted to go Halloween-y, I wanted to go fall and berries and oranges. This is kind of where we are, is the idea. And for anything that is going on my face today, it's gonna be all written down in the description box below of this video while I'm trying to get some foundation out of this mini. So if you're curious of what I'm using, you'll just see it in the description box, so I don't have to talk about that while I try to talk about a life update. So this week was the pregnancy loss awareness week, and I went onto Instagram stories and decided to talk about my experience, or our experience, with pregnancy loss. And I had the most amazing messages coming through from you guys there. So much love, so much sweetness and encouragement for sharing it so publicly, for sharing our story so publicly, and I thank you for that. That also brought me to think that maybe it's also time to share the whole story with you guys. And the reason is that a lot of you told me, thank you, I don't feel alone, or thank you, I didn't know, thank you for sharing. It makes the community more aware, women more aware of what can happen while trying for a baby. So this is a little bit of our fertility journey. We started trying to have a baby in 2018. I stopped with the pill in exactly May. That was like literally the month of our wedding party, let's say. We've already been officially married for 2 years, but we had a big wedding party when we came back from America. And that's when I also stopped the pill. And, you know, like anyone, I was saying, okay, it will take a while for my body to get back into its own rhythm. I'll give us a year, 6 months at least, for me to get back and have my period regularly and things like that. And then maybe another 6 months to conceive. Now, I got my period immediately. It was immediately very, very regular. So it came every 28 days like clockwork. And one of the things I discovered getting off the pill was that life is brighter. Colors are brighter. Happiness is happier. And I really didn't see any effect on the negative side. So no extra sadness. When you expect your emotions to go so much higher, I also expected my emotions to go so much lower. But I didn't have that. My mood swings during my period week were okay, but nothing really, really different from what I had while I was using the pill. And one other thing was that in the middle of the cycle, I felt strong pain on one of the two sides of my pelvic area. And I was like, oh goodness, what is happening? Sometimes it would even bleed a little. I wasn't sure. What actually turned out to be is that was my ovulation. I had taken some tests, or bought some tests that you can check. They look a lot like pregnancy tests, but they're ovulation tests, and they will check for a different hormone compared to the pregnancy one to see if you ovulate. And it came out that in my experiments at home, that I was feeling my ovulation happen, which is great, because part of the struggle for couples trying to conceive is to know when you're fertile. Women are only fertile 5 to 1 day a month, which brings up a whole other amount of issues with the world saying it's a woman's fault if she's pregnant. No, we are only fertile 5 days if you're lucky, but it can also just be a window of 12 hours. When you ovulate, your egg is there and ready to be fertilized. So that part was nice, but on the other hand, what happened was that after 6 months, we were not conceiving. I went to get checked for, I don't know, I had an ecography and everything looked fine. We waited another 6 months. So after a total of a year, nothing left, nothing yet. And so it went. After a year and a half, we did manage to conceive. We were very close to starting a fertility journey, and both of us had been checked for any problems, and we both didn't have official problems. But at the same time, right after we were being checked, I had a positive pregnancy test. Excited, life was good, it was finally what we wanted. We didn't have to go through hormonal treatments. I didn't have to go through hormonal treatments and artificial insemination and things like that. We just got pregnant naturally. Fantastic. We were happy, and too much so maybe, or too soon so, because after 8 weeks we found out that there was no baby growing inside me. I had the morning nausea, I had all the symptoms. My boobs were ginormous and painful, but there was only an empty sac. There was a little something, so there were cells they implanted. They created an area inside the womb a sac inside the womb where the baby would have grown, but there was no baby. There was no heartbeat, there was actually no baby. That was devastating. I talked about it in my stories more in depth. It's a pain I don't wish to anybody in the world. And it was even what I think a more mild pain compared to someone, for example, losing a baby after 5 months of pregnancy, after 9 months of pregnancy, when you're actually bonded to a human being. Still very difficult to go through, and that was October 2019. It was also my birthday. I think a day before my birthday, I took the pills that were supposed to make the sac and the pregnancy leave my body, because it wasn't leaving my body naturally. And I spent a day after I took these pills hugging the toilet, not sure if I was gonna vomit or poop. It was a little bit of a very complicated situation. I was sick. It was really bad, but I was bleeding. The pregnancy came out, and I thought, okay, now we wait until my own period comes back. We had a checkup in December. So this was, let's say, a month and a half after, 4 to 6 weeks after we had a checkup. And it came out that I did not actually have all of it gone out. I did not go back to normal. And my gynecologist called for an emergency operation to get everything out, because at that point it was in the body for a long time. It could cause infection, and it could have been bad. So revisiting the pain again and again and again, it was not nice. It was not fun. It was, to be honest, all I wanted was my mother. And being an expat and having my mom an hour and a half of a flight away was really difficult, and she couldn't have come in such a short notice. And the day I had to go to the hospital was also my husband's first day of lecturing at the university, for which he couldn't skip. So I went to the hospital to get the operation to remove the rest of the pregnancy by myself, lying in a very, very cold hospital bed in preparation by myself. It was December. It was freezing, horribly freezing. And yeah, I cried so much just because I was alone in a very difficult time. And luckily, the operation was very, I would say, quick. I was under sedation, which is not total anesthesia, but they put you into a level in which you're not conscious, and you don't feel as much pain or pain at all. I didn't feel anything. I went to sleep and I woke up. I think it was just 15-20 minutes of operation, and I could go home after an hour or so, when I was all back into my own, and my husband came to pick me up. And I had no pain. It was really, really easy. I thought I had taken off 2 days for work for it, because I thought I would have been in a lot of pain, but it was really easy. In that operation, I also had a chat with the gynecologist, and she checked, because we had thought I had endometriosis due to some other things that happened in previous visits. And she checked, and indeed she thought she saw endometriosis. And if you don't know what that is, it is when the cells that grow in your uterus as the uterus lining for in preparation for pregnancy and implantation, they grow outside your uterus and they bleed with your cycle, and it can be very, very painful. It can be very debilitating. I am lucky that I have it in a small amount. And we think it started growing after I stopped my pill, because it happens to women who have been having cycles for too long without being pregnant. So when you're over 30, you're too old. You haven't had a baby, you're too old. Your body nature says, okay, I'm all messed up. I had too many periods, and then it's a chronic situation that I'll have to deal with my whole life. And I'm just grateful that it doesn't actually impede my daily life. Anyways, that was a long story about my pregnancy loss and diagnosis. That ended with an official diagnosis in January 2020, and with the doctor telling us, well, since you did get pregnant spontaneously, it means you can, which also means you should try a bit more by yourselves without any intervention to see if you can get pregnant again, because after pregnancy and after a loss, you're the most fertile. That was not what we wanted to hear, because trying to conceive is a process that puts a big strain on your own self-worth and value and on your relationship, because now I say it, sex is not about enjoying each other's company and each other's bodies and pleasure, but it's about, okay, it's day 15. You're in pain, Alice. You feel the ovulation, you're in pain. We have to have sex because this is when we can have a baby. Not fun for me, not fun for my partner. Not something, again, I wish to anyone. I'm gonna leave it a little bit there, but we went through this for another 7 months. At some point we have a conversation with the specialist and we said, let's continue like this until the end of summer. And after your period in August, Alice, we start the stimulation for IUI. So that is intrauterine insemination. It's artificial insemination. Now, I wasn't looking forward to that because, you need to go through a cycle of hormones. You need to go through what that means for your body. They do that because then they stimulate ovulation of 2 or 3 follicles instead of only 1 to increase your chances. And then what they do is they treat the sperm of the man and they inject it directly in the uterus, bypassing any problems, fertility problems that might be in the earlier parts of the journey of the sperm towards the egg. I wasn't looking forward to the hormonal treatments, let's say. But we were diligent. We tried and we tried and we failed and we failed. In the meantime, I had a few quite long cycles, maybe 1 week, 10 days late even. And now I really think that those were some losses that my body was just not accepting that egg, or it was not a viable pregnancy and nature just did its course. And then we went on holiday this summer to Rome. I was due to have my period at the, I don't know, 4th or 5th day of our holiday. And I had taken tests with me because it was something for me to test if I didn't get my period. And indeed, the day I was due, I tested, and the test was positive. So I was pregnant again. This was the end of July, middle of July. Yeah, middle of July. I was pregnant again. You can imagine my thoughts, or our thoughts there, which were like, oh my God, is this real? Oh my God, we shouldn't be happy because what if it goes wrong again? Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh my God, who are we gonna tell? Oh my God, let's not tell anyone. Let's keep it to ourselves. Let's process. Try not to be too happy, which I am horrible about. I am all-in type of person. So for me to restrain my future planning, for example, or happiness, or thinking of how to tell my parents, his parents, my best friend, that's all I could think of. And my husband was like, Alice, keep it down. Try not to be too enthusiastic, because last time it didn't go so well. Keep that in mind. Don't put too much feeling into it, because you may get hurt again. And we had a few nice days in which I had to stop drinking wine in an Italian holiday, if you can imagine how joyful that was. And I couldn't eat any burrata, which was really annoying, because in Rome burrata is amazing. But in the end, we are pregnant. I am 17 weeks pregnant now. We are expecting a baby. It's real. I have a belly. Maybe I can show you. But I have a baby belly, and our journey continues. I feel not blessed, I don't believe, but I feel lucky that I didn't have to go through hormonal treatment to conceive. I think that part could have been a very good option, and we were considering IUI for a few times and then IVF, because we want a family. But I feel very grateful and lucky that was not our story. And I feel lucky that I didn't lose this pregnancy this time, that it actually went fine, and that I am now carrying a child. For a bit of nice stuff, we decided that it's gonna be a surprise, so we're not gonna find out the gender until the birth, for ourselves and for our family. And if you know me in person, you know I'm a control freak. So this is my way of practicing letting go of things, because I know that with children and in general, mom life doesn't really come as you plan it. So it is easier on your own mental health if you can let go of a few things and take it a little bit easier and a little bit more relaxed. So that is why I am okay with waiting, and it was actually the wish of my husband to wait and to have a surprise. He likes surprises a lot, so that was his choice, and I support that, and I take it as a challenge. Let's put it that way. And I was very nauseous for the last few months, and that was why there was no content. It was very difficult for me to do anything, to be honest. I was working what I could, and I was just doing what I could to keep up and stay happy-ish. I think one thing that was particularly difficult, talking about being happy, is the fact that until the 12-week echography, where they tell you how far along you are, or they give you the expected due date, which by the way is the last week of March. Until then, the chances of a miscarriage are quite high, and I couldn't believe that I was pregnant. Of course I believed it, but I couldn't bring myself to just be happy and just be excited. So what I did was a very difficult cycle of being really, really excited about it and then being terrified of losing it again. I don't wish that onto anyone, but that is a consequence of losing a pregnancy. I think many people can tell you the same story. Once you lose one child, it's very difficult to let go of that fear, the fear of the pain and the fear of the disappointment. But now that we are past that point, I think it is, I can actually be just happy, and I am just happy. I get a lot of energy from telling people about it because I get so many positive reactions that it actually makes it feel more real to me and more happy time instead of a terrifying time. There are a few resources on the internet that I've been using that have really helped me. So, for example, Leanne Says here on YouTube, she is going through a fertility journey, and I watched her vlogs religiously while we were going through it because it made me feel less alone. And that is also why I wanted to share my story. It made me feel less alone and made me feel like there was someone else going through the same pain and problems and issues that could relate to me, even though she doesn't know me, she doesn't know who I am, and it was just interesting to see someone else's experience. And the Bird's Papaya on Instagram, she has a whole body positivity account on there, and she also went through loss of pregnancy, and she is now, I think, 5 or 6 months pregnant with her third child. And she talks about a lot of things that are even a little bit more deep, because for me it was just a lot of fear during the first trimester, but for her it really turned into depression and asking for help and therapy. And I think it's very valuable to go take a look if you are in the same situation. Those people really helped me to cope with my, or not really to cope, but to feel less alone in my problems, let's say. But now we're here. We are having a baby, we're pregnant, in a lockdown during Corona times, and we're gonna survive. What else can I tell you? What are the options? There are no other options. I am very curious to hear if any one of you has any tips, any one of you who are moms have any tips for me, any one of you who want to reach out, not in the comments, but in private messages or so, to discuss things or talk about your situation. I know that talking to someone helps. So I am here for you if you want to. I want to share my experience so that you will not feel alone. I want to use my pain in pregnancy loss and in trying to conceive to help other people and to inform other people that that is common and that you cannot expect to just fall pregnant, which is also something people say. I had friends who got pregnant the first time. I had friends who tried for a long time. I have friends who lost a lot, and I have friends who just managed the first and not the second time, didn't manage the first time easily and did manage the second time very easily. Everybody is so different. Every combination of people is so different, and every story is valid. Every struggle is valid. Whether it's a struggle because you got pregnant immediately and you weren't ready. You said, I'm gonna try, it's gonna take me a year, and you weren't ready. Whether you wanted a baby for a long time and you thought, well, it shouldn't be so hard, we're healthy individuals, there's no problem, nothing in the family, and then it doesn't happen for you for a long time. Whether you want a second and you can't, whether you want one and you can't, whether you want one and get the second by mistake, it's all valid. And I just want to make this a space in which we can talk about it. But yeah, that is a little bit of our story and our journey into becoming pregnant, or I wanted to say parents, but we're not parents yet. Now the fun stuff begins, I think. We are waiting for the 20-week echography or scan, how you call it, which is actually going to happen at 19 weeks, so only 2 weeks from now, where they're going to check all the organs of the baby, check if it's growing correctly, if it has a beating heart. Well, we saw the beating heart, but if the heart has all 4 sections of it, if the I don't know, if the kidneys are the right size, if all the intestines are in the right place, and if everything is how it's supposed to be. And after that, we are going to start decorating the baby room. I already, of course, picked a color. I also already found the furniture I like, that I would like to have in the house. And I feel we're very lucky because a lot of my husband's family, cousins and friends have had children already, and my 2 best friends already have 2. And they have been very generous with us to handing down secondhand bits, which makes all of it very much easier, let's say, less daunting of an expense, for example, especially because kids grow so fast and a lot of the things you don't need for a long time. So for example, we already have a newborn car seat, which we drove around for a day when we received it, when we picked it up from my husband's cousin. So that was fun and very weird. We already have one of these small chairs for children that we purchased secondhand, and a box for downstairs where the kid can like lay and sleep, for example, when they're not in their cot upstairs. So we're very lucky. On the other hand, we were also the last people in our circle to have a child, and that also meant that every single time someone would announce, I would be in tears. I couldn't take it. My husband's family is very big, and every family visit was a cousin who had just given birth and a cousin who was pregnant with a first, second, third, fourth, and never us. It was never us. So hard. Let me put on my lipstick and I'll come back. The makeup is done, and I think my story is also done. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me and me sharing the biggest news of the year for us, and the only positive thing about this 2020, which is absolutely berserk, but for us at this point, probably the best year so far. 2019 was a year to trash, put in the bin, forget about for us, but 2020 has actually revealed to be quite a special one. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to keep hearing updates from me, maybe once a trimester, once in a while, show you the nursery. I love interiors, so I love seeing what people choose to do with their baby rooms. Or not. Or if you just want me to talk about makeup, that's also fine. I'll keep the baby talk to Instagram maybe. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. Thank you so much to all of you who on Instagram, on here, support me, and who know and who didn't know but thought about it and never dared to ask, because they're nice human beings and they know how painful it can be if the answer is no. And I'm just finally happy and accepting the fact that I'm gonna be a mother, whatever that will look like next year. And hopefully creating more content once I get also a little bit more motivation and I get to actually leave the house. Not today. This is the makeup of the day. I felt like a very fall plum, purple and orange combination with the Vampy lip, which is an oldie but a goodie. It's Instigator by MAC. I don't know if any of you guys still have it. I think my second or third MAC lipstick. Love it. This is so good. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it. A big hug from me to you. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.